Okay, we just completed this step here, doing the first step in the partial fractions. And what we need to do now is we need to decompose this also into partial fractions. I realize it may seem impossible to do, but it's really not impossible to do, all right? And what I want to do is just go through how to factor the bottom, all right? It might seem unusual to you, but I got x4, and we need to factor that, by the way, minus x squared plus 1. And I realize some people are looking and saying, I don't think you could factor that, but you can give it a try. And what I mean by that, I'm going to assume it factors in the quadratic. So x squared, and I realize it might be a stretch in reasoning, but I'm going to say, it's probably plus 1 plus 1. And again, this is what's called trial and error. What I don't know is the middle part, and that's often an issue for me. So I'm going to write it down I'm going to write down, I don't know. I'll put down bx. And over here, I don't know, I'm going to call it cx. All right? And what I'm going to do now is, certainly, I think multiplying it out might not be a bad idea. And I want to point out, the first thing I notice is I got x squared times x squared, which gives me x4. I also got 1 times 1, which gives me the 1. But what I start to realize, I don't want any cubics. There are no cubics. So I'm going to look for the cubic terms. I don't want any, because there's none on the left side. Where would they come from? Well, I'm looking at it, and it would come from, the x squared times cx, which would give you cx cubed. So I'll say c. I get 1 there. All right, do I get another one? Yeah. The other one comes from b. Because bx times x squared is going to be bx cubed. So what do I know? I know that c plus b, whatever it is, has to sum up to 0, which means they're opposites. All right? Now, by the way, I know there's a square term there, and I want to go through that with you now. And so I know there's minus 1. That's on the left side. That's a coefficient. Let's talk about the square terms. Well, x squared times 1, I get 1. And then I get another 1. And where else would I get an x squared from? I get it from b times c. And b times c would be, bc x squared. So I'll just put down bc over here. All right, I think I'm pretty good with that because I got everything covered at this point. I'm just wondering, can I get a c and b that satisfies this? And I think I can. Like, for example, the first equation looks pretty simple, by the way. B would equal minus c. All right, so let's write this down. Minus 1 equals 1 plus 1, which is 2. And then, b, I said, was minus c, right? So let's write this over here. Plus minus c times c. And what do you get there? Well, you get minus 3 equals minus c squared. I subtracted 2 from both sides, all I've done. That means c squared is equal to 3. So c could be plus or minus the root of 3. Well, I'm seeing some symmetry over here. So if that's true, b would be minus or positive root 3. So I think I got my factorization now. All right, this is an important first step, by the way. So I'm going to say over here that x squared minus 2, the denominator would factor to x squared plus root 3 x plus 1 times x squared minus root 3 x plus 1. So I got that factored. Now I'm going for a 4th degree polynomial to a square now. So I'm getting closer to what I want to get to. All right, so I'm going to say that was tough, but I got there. All right, let me point out where this is written for you. It's written right over here. All right, so I factored this part. All right, so what I'm going to do is take that fraction here. I'm trying to decompose it. Write down the 2 denominators, and then the numerators I'll put in this form over here. Now this is where the struggle comes in. I got to multiply both sides by the LCD. And if I do that, I'm going to write it down for you. You would get x squared minus 2. It's always the tough part, by the way. And then what do you get? You get cx plus d, cx plus d times x squared plus root 3x plus 1. And then it's going to be plus EX plus f times x squared minus root 3 x plus 1. All right? It looks awful, it really does. I'm going to try to do something with it and see if I can figure it out. And again, you know, if you want to equate coefficients, you can. Looks like a lot of work though. So I'm just going to pick some easy numbers now. So I'll pick x to be 0. I believe that's an easy number to compute with, by the way. And what would you get? Well, you get minus 2. And then you would get d. Again, c times 0 is 0, and you get d, and then, you know, 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1. And then you can get plus, well, let's see what you get over there. The e would disappear, you get f. Oh, that's all you get is f. Well, that's not so bad. I know d plus f must equal minus 2. D plus f must equal minus 2. Let's keep going. Let's pick x to be 1. By the way, I have 4 unknowns. So if you have 4 unknowns, you're going to have to figure out 4 separate equations. All right, let's take a look at this. I'll put 1 down. What do you get? 1 minus 2 is minus 1. This is more difficult. You're going to get c plus d. And then over there, what do you get? You're going to get, you know, 1 plus 1 plus root 3. So 2 plus root 3. All right, let's keep going. Plus, I chose 1 again, right? You get e plus f. And then when you get over there, you get 1 plus 1, which is 2, minus root 3. That's a second equation. You know, kind of looking at that, maybe let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I'm going to try to equate coefficient because I realize that this might really get really nasty looking. Let's see if we can do that. Let's just see if we can do the x squareds, all right? So on the left side, you get 1. Whoops. And I want to just equate the squares in it. So you would get, let's see, you would get d, that would be one of them, plus, well, let's take a look at that. That would be, let's see, that would be root 3 times c. And let's keep going. Do I get other squares? I do. It would be plus f, right, f of x squared, and you're going to get minus root 3 times e. All right, let's do the constant now, equating it, and that would be minus 2. And where would the constant come from? Well, get d, right? If the constant, I'm going to look at the constant. It would be d from the first term, and then plus f. Well, I kind of see something immediately that might help me a little bit. And let me write this down for you. So I'm going to put down 1 equals, and again, one of what I'm doing over here, d plus f, whoops, sorry about that. D plus f, I did it again. D plus f is right up here. And that's just simply minus 2. Let's write that down. So minus 2. And then what do you get there? Well, I'm gonna factor out the root 3. And root 3 times c minus a. All right, I'm gonna claim I got some important things to look at now. So I did the square term, I did the constant term. Now let's do the cubic, all right? Because I realize it's going to produce a cubic somewhere. There is no cubic on the left side. So 0. And where would the cubic come from? Cx times x squared. That would just be c. And let's do the other term here. The cubic there would be plus a. Let's see if I did that right. Yeah, I think we did okay. So this gives me kind of something really kind of simple over here, doesn't it? It says that C is actually equal to minus A. All right, let's see if we can get that going. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to pop it in up here, see what we come up with. What do you get? You get 1 equals minus 2 plus root 3. And then C is minus A, so you get minus 2E here. And let's write this down over here. You're going to get 3 equals minus 2 root 3E. See if I did that right. I add 2 to both sides, I get 3. And then I get minus 2 root 3E. That looksn't so bad, right? So you get 3 over minus 2 root 3 is equal to E. I'm going to simplify that by multiplying top and bottom by root 3. You're going to get 3 root 3. And on bottom you get minus 2 times 3. So I would get minus root 3 over 2. So I know E. Right? I want to point out I know E now. E is this number here. If you know E, you know C. Let's write this over here. What's C going to be equal to? It's the opposite of it. So C is going to be root 3 over 2. All right. Now, I gotta figure something else out over here, and I still have to figure out the D and the F. All right. So we did the squares, we did the cubes. I didn't do the linear one yet, did I? Let's put that down. So the linear one's going to be, there is no linear term. On the right side, where the linear is going to come from, C. Right, that's one linear term, because Cx times 1 is just C. And then you can get, let's see, root 3D. All right? And let's keep moving. And I'll go to the next one. And I'm looking for the linear term for the next one. And what are you going to get over there? You're certainly going to get an E. Right, because Ex times 1 is just, you know, the E. Then you're going to get another linear term, which is minus root 3F. All right, let's take a look. C plus E is still 0, so I get this over here. 0 equals root 3D minus root 3F. Again, I know C plus E is still 0. And my question is, can I figure that out? And I think I can. I'm going to multiply both sides by root 3. I still get 0. This should be 3D minus 3F. And I have this equation still, don't I? I'm going to write this down as, let's see, minus 6. I multiply both sides by 3, by the way. You would get 3D minus 3F. And let's add them together. And what do you get there? Minus 6 equals 6D. Well, D looks like a pretty simple number now. D is minus 1. All right, I got that. I got E, I got C, I got D. And I know what the F is now too. And how do I know that? I'm looking at this over here. It also has to be minus 1. So I found them all. I found C, which is here, root 3 over 2. I found A, which is minus root 3 over 2. I found D, which is minus 1. And I found the F, which is also minus 1. All right, I equated coefficient there. I thought it was easier. All right, so let's write it down for you. And again, writing these things down is, you know, part of the game. So you get x squared minus 2 x4 minus x squared plus 1 equals, what's the C? That was root 3 over 2. Times x plus D. What was D? Oh, D is minus 1, so I'm going to put plus down, put minus 1 down. You know what, I think I'm writing too big over here, so let me erase this over here. I know it's problematic. Minus 1 over x squared minus root 3x plus 1. Let's put this down now. What was the E? That was minus root 3 over 2. x minus 1 over x squared plus root 3 x plus 1. I don't like the way that's written, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out, let's see what I'm going to factor out from the top. Root 3 over 2. You know what? I'm not going to factor that. I'll leave the root 3 there. I'm going to factor out a half from the top. And what are you left off with? Let's see, root 3x, and that would be minus 2 now, over x squared minus root 3x plus 1. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'm going to factor out a minus a half. And what do you get there? You get root 3x plus 2, x squared plus root 3, x plus 1. I want to point out we only did this. All right, now so what were you looking for? Let's go back over it. I'm looking for minus 1/3 times that. Let me write that down for you now. So minus 1/3 times that. I'm going to do minus 1/3 times this. And what do you get? Minus 1/6 root 3x minus 2 x squared minus root 3x plus 1 plus 1/6 root 3x plus 2 x squared plus root 3x plus 1. All right, let's not forget the first term now. Let's see if we're doing okay over here. I still had this term over here. I want to make sure you know that's written down over here. There's a lot to file though, isn't there? And let's see if we got these two terms down now. Do I have this one? Minus 1/6. Yep. Yep. Do I have this one written down? 1/6, root 3, yep. Yeah, things are looking good. All right, let me put out what the goal is here. I'm going to start to erase this thing over here. I want to point out this is the goal. However, I will be honest with you on this one over here. Although it's a goal, I still don't recognize how to integrate two of those terms. One term I can integrate pretty easily though. This term here is super easy to integrate. So now, once we got this over here, I need to figure out how to integrate these terms over here. We'll go to the next step. Thank you.